Romans chapter 4 verse 16 罗马书第4章16节 For this cause it is of faith that it may be according to grace to the end that the promise may be sure to all the seed, not only to that only which is of the law, but to that also which is of the faith of Abraham, who is the father of us all. 我读和合本。所以人得为后世是本乎信，因此就属乎恩，叫应许定然归给一切后裔，不但归给那属乎律法的，也归给那效法亚伯拉罕之信的。16节。This interpretation of verse 15 lays the proper basis for verse 16. 就照穆里前面怎么样来解释第15节，这个的解释呢，就为第16节奠定正确的基础了。Therefore, it is of faith, in order that it may be according to grace. 是本乎信，因此就属乎恩。信一本是因着信，为的是要按着恩典。Since law works wrath in view of transgression, law knows no grace. 律法既然是因过犯惹动了愤怒，所以在律法里面是没有恩典的。Therefore, the inheritance cannot be of law. 因此，承受产业不可能是借着律法。And those who are of law cannot be the heirs. 那些属于律法、属于这个系统里面的人呢，就不可能是后世。The only alternative is the principle of faith. 唯一的可能是借着信心这个原则。And so, the inheritance is of faith. 因此，作为后世承受产业是借着信心。In order that it might be by grace. 好叫它是本乎恩的。Faith and grace cohere. 信心和恩典是相符合的。Law and the promised inheritance are contradictory. 律法和上帝所应许的产业是彼此矛盾的。这个靠守律法的这个系统和上帝所应许的产业，这个白白的恩赐呢，是彼此矛盾的。Latter part of verse 16 expresses the design that is promoted by the fact that the inheritance is of faith and therefore by grace. 16节的下半节呢，表达出上帝的计划。因为承受产业是本乎信，因此属乎恩。因为这个事实是为了达到什么的目标的呢？ To the end that the promise might be sure to all the seed. 叫应许定然归给所有的后裔 not only to that which is of the law. 不单单是给那些属乎律法的人 but also to that which is of the faith of Abraham. 也是那些属乎或者效法亚伯拉罕的信心的那些人。The parallelism to the design stated in the second half of verse 11 and in verse 12 is too clear to be called into question. 在这里，第16节下和第11节下跟12节那里所指的目标，两者之间是有了一个平衡相应的。这个是太清楚了，这个平衡性是不容置疑的。But here, in verse 16, 但是在这里呢，在第16节呢 the design is stated in relation to the promise. 在这里的目的呢，是与应许有关的目的。Whereas in verses 11 and 12, it is stated in reference to the import and purpose of circumcision. 而在第11节下跟12节那里呢，那边的目的 是与隔离的意义和隔离的目的有关的。Here, in verse 16, the principle of faith and grace is said to be the guarantee. 在这里16节，信心和恩典的原则是一种的保证。Guarantee that the promise comprises all the seed， 保证着上帝的应许是包含了所有的后裔的。That is to say, all believe， 就是说应许是包含着所有相信的人 ，whether they be Jews or Gentiles， 无论是犹太人或者外邦人的。Refer to verse 13。请参考第13节。Now, the designation of the law in verse 16 must have a different reference here from the expressions through law in verses 13 and of law in verse 14。那这里第16节这个属乎律法的人呢，肯定是与13节的借着律法、14节的属乎律法所指的是不同的。For in these latter instances， 因为在13、14节 through law and of law are antithetical to and exclusive of faith。在第13、14节，借着律法和属乎律法是与信心相反的，是排除信心的，信心以外的。The promise is not through law. Verse 13， 13节应许不是借着律法而来的。And those who are of law, verse 14, are not heirs. 14节那些属于律法的人就不是后世的。Faith and promise are negated if law is in operation。假如这个律法这个系统的原则是运行的话呢，信心就废除了，应许就废除了。But in verse 16， 但是到了第16节 ，the seed which is of the law is not excluded。但是这里属乎律法的后裔呢，没有被排除在应许的范围以外。The promise is said to be sure to them。provided they have faith。 这里说上帝的应许也是向他们是定然的，当然条件是他们要有信心就是了。Consequently， 结果是呢 their being of the law does not place them outside the category of faith。 在这里第16节，这些属乎律法的人，他们属乎律法并不马上就让他们排除在信心的范围以外，或者有信心的人的范围以外。Whereas in verses 13 and 14， 但是在13节、14节呢 ，through law and of law， 借着律法、属乎律法呢 ，are in the sharpest opposition to faith， 是完完全全与信心相反的。We shall have to conclude， 因此我们必须做这个结论 ，that of the law verse 16 is equivalent in meaning to of the circumcision in verse 12。 在这里16节属乎律法的意思呢，就等于12节的属乎隔离或者受了隔离的意思是一样的。12节是这样说的，又做受隔离之人的父，就是又做那些属乎隔离的人的父。The parallelism and the identical meaning of the father of the circumcision to those who are not of the circumcision only, but also walk in the steps of the faith of our father Abraham, which he had in uncircumcision, verse 12 on the one hand, and not to that which is of the law only, but also to that which is of the faith of Abraham, verse 16 on the other. The parallelism and identical meaning are apparent. 12节跟16节有着平衡相应性，而他们的意思完全是一样的。这两点是很明显的。第12节说，又做属乎隔离之人的父，就是那些不单受隔离，并且按着我们的祖宗亚伯拉罕 作为不属乎割礼的时候而信的终极去行的人。16节是说，人得为后世是本乎信，因此就属乎恩，叫应许定然归给一切后裔，不但归给那些属乎律法的，也归给那些属乎亚伯拉罕的信心的。平衡相应，意义是一样的。So verse 16, of the law must mean of the Mosaic law. 所以这里16节属乎律法的意思肯定就是属乎摩西的律法的人。And refers to those who had the advantage of being under the Mosaic economy. 这里16节属乎律法是指那些有福分活在摩西的体制之下的人。This illustrates again the flexibility there is in Paul's use of this word law. 这里再次指出，保罗用律法这个词是有怎么样的弹性 and the different shades of meaning that must be discovered if we are to do justice to his thought. 假如我们要充分理解保罗的思想的话，就必须看到这些很微妙的意义，在不同章节是不一样的。Those who are of law are excluded from the seed. 那些属乎律法的人不在亚伯拉罕的后裔的范围之内。Those who are of the Mosaic law considered as an economy are not excluded. 但是那些属乎摩西的律法的体制是没有被排除的。But Paul is insistent that the latter, that is, those who are of the Mosaic law, must also be of the faith of Abraham, if they are to be his seed. 但是保罗坚持说，这些属乎摩西的律法的人呢，若要做亚伯兰的后裔的话，必须是属乎亚伯兰的信心的，就是必须有或者效法亚伯兰的信心的。Romans 4:17，罗马书4章17节 ，As it is written, a father of many nations have I made thee. Abraham is the father of us all before him whom he believed, even God, who giveth life to the dead, and calleth the things that are not as though they were. 我们要读第16跟17节一起来读。不但归给那属乎律法的，也归给那效法亚伯兰之信的。亚伯拉罕所信的是那叫死人复活，使无变为有的上帝。他在主面前做我们世人的父。如经上所记，我已经立你做多国的父。The appeal to Scripture at the beginning of verse 17, as it is written, a father of many nations have I made thee, must be regarded in the syntax of the sentence as parenthetical. 保罗在第17节一开始是诉诸旧约圣经的，如经上所记，我使你成为多国之父。假如从这个句子的构造 syntax 来看呢，这个引用旧约的这句话呢，是一个括弧，一个插句。But we may not think that it is an aside in the apostle's argument. 但是虽然是插句，但是在保罗整个的论证方面，不是离题，不是无关的不。This appeal to Scripture is in corroboration of the preceding clause, who is the father of us all. 这里保罗诉诸于旧约圣经呢，是再加了一个的证据，来证明前面的从句，就是说亚伯兰是我们众人之父。And both clauses taken together reiterate the thought of verses 11 and 12. 这里这两个从句，一个是我们众人之父，另外是我要叫你成为多国之父。这两个从句一起呢，是重复了第11节和12节所说的。Here, however, 但是到了这里17节 the stress is laid upon the community of right and privilege in the fatherhood of Abraham on the part of all believers, who is the Father of us all, and upon the ethnic universality of this relationship, the Father of many nations have I made thee, in a way that surpasses the forms of expression in verses 11 and 12. 那在这里呢，使徒保罗要强调的是，所有信徒都有亚伯拉罕作为他们的父，这里有着一个群体性的一个的特权的。另外就是这个关系是遍及全世界所有的民族的，我使你成为多国的父。这样的表述是超越了第11节和12节的表述。In the early instance, 因为在第11、12节 the terms of the argument required Paul to say, the father of all who believe through uncircumcision and the father of circumcision. 因为当时保罗的论证，在论证什么事情的缘故呢？保罗必须说，所有未受割礼而信的人之父，还有受了割礼之人的父。Thus indicating this kind of distinction. 因此指出，这里两组人是有区别的。But now, 但是现在到了17节 he dispenses with even that distinction. 他连那个区别都不需要提了 and says expressly, without any discrimination, who is the father of us all, and a father of many nations, I have made thee. 他直截了当的明说，不需要区别的说，是我们众人之父，我必使你成为多国之父。The parenthetical nature of the clauses pertaining to the appeal to Scripture, verse 17a, helps us to understand the connection of the latter part of verse 17, before him whom he believed, etc. 保罗在这里诉诸于圣经就是17节上的那些从句呢，是一个括弧，是一个插句，这样就让我们看清楚第17节下半的，就是他在所信的上帝面前等等呢的连结是什么的连结。This is to be taken with the clause, who is the father of us all. 17节下面这段呢，是要与做我们众人之父一起来读的 and means that Abraham is the father of us all before God. 意思就是说，亚伯拉罕在上帝面前做我们多人或者众人之父。The fatherhood of Abraham partakes of all the validity and sanction derived from divine recognition and institution. 亚伯拉罕做众人之父这个身份呢，是因为有上帝的承认，是因为上帝所设立的，所以有了充分的从神而来的合法性。Or it may reflect on the fact that the faith of Abraham, in which his fatherhood resides, was a faith exercised and maintained in the presence of God. 另外一个可能是，这里反映出一件事，亚伯拉罕作为信心之父，他的信心呢，是在上帝面前表达出，他是在上帝面前信，他是在上帝面前继续信的。Refer to Genesis 17:1， 参考创世纪17章第1节 and 2 Corinthians 2:17， 还有哥林多后书第2章17节的。The clauses which follow， 接下来的几个从句 ，Who gives life to the dead and calleth the things that are not as though they were。那现在我直接翻译了哈，后面的整个程序是上帝呢是把生命赐给死人的，上帝也称呼或者呼召那些不存在的事，好像他们存在一样。Are descriptive of the aspects of God's character which are peculiarly appropriate to the faith exercised。这里在描述上帝的属性的一些的层面，这些上帝的属性是特别与信心相关的。 they point to those attributes of God which are the specific basis of Abraham's faith. 这里就指出亚伯拉罕的信心呢，它是特别的，这个信心特别根据上帝哪一些的属性 or at least to the attributes which were in the forefront of Abraham's apprehension when he believed the promises and put his trust in the Lord. 至少呢，亚伯拉罕相信这些应许，亚伯拉罕信靠上帝的时候，他在的心目中最专注于最想到的是上帝的哪一些的属性。The first of these, 首先所提到的属性是 Who gives life to the dead, 叫死人的生命的 has in view the life-giving power of God by which he can raise the dead to life. 这里就是指上帝赐生命的能力，这个能力呢，上帝可以使死人复活的。中文呢，把这个翻译跟解释全部都通通的都讲出来了。In Scripture, this is regarded as the peculiar index to God's omnipotence. 圣经里面呢，这个上帝能叫死人复活的这个属性呢，特别是指上帝的无所不能。And Paul elsewhere indicates this. 保罗在其他经文呢是指出这一点的。Refer to Ephesians 1:19 and 20. 参考以弗所书第1章19到20节。我从第18节开始读和合本，并且照明你们心中的眼睛，使你们知道他的恩召有何等指望，他在圣徒中所得的基业有何等丰盛的荣耀。19，并知道他向我们这信的人所显的能力是何等浩大，就是照他在基督身上所运行的大能大力，使他从死里复活，叫他在天上坐在自己的右边。It is only as Abraham had respect to such an attribute of God as in exemplified in raising the dead, that he could have believed the promise that he would be the father of many nations. 唯有是因为亚伯拉罕的相信上帝这方面的属性，就是上帝是能够叫死人复活的。因为亚伯拉罕信上帝这个属性，他才能够相信上帝的应许，说他必做多国之父的。And reason for this, as shown later in subsequent verses, 在下面几节就指出为什么是如此呢？这原因就是is that the fulfillment was as naturally and humanly impossible as raising the dead. 是因为上帝要实现这个应许的话，就与叫死人复活一样的，从天然的角度，从人的角度来看是不可能的。The second clause, 第二个从句 Who calleth the things that are not as though they were. 上帝呼召那些不存在的事物，好像它们存在一般。Presents more difficulty, 就比较难解释的。It has been variously interpreted. 解经家有不同的理解。第一个观点 View number 1. It has been regarded as referring to the creative activity of God. 有解经家认为这里是在讲上帝创造的事工 by which he calls into being things which had no existence prior to his fiat. 上帝叫一些他讲话他小于之前不存在的事情，上帝说到他们存在 call into being. An aspect of God's character appropriate to the faith of Abraham. 是的，这种的上帝的属性呢，是与亚伯拉罕的信心是有相关的，是恰当的。But hardly that expressed by the formula Paul uses. 但是保罗所讲的不是这个。Paul, he does not say, who calleth into being things that are not. 保罗没有说上帝叫那些不存在的说到他们存在，不是的。But calleth the things that are not as being they were. 保罗说的是上帝叫那些不存在的东西呼召他们好像他们存在一样。And the things in view are things that are not, rather than things that are brought into being. 这些 是不存在的事，而不是说brought into being 创造出来的事，不是的，不是那些不存在而被创造出来的，就是不存在的事。第二个观点 ，A view that has received wide acceptance is that the formula has reference to God's disposing decree and control over all things actual and possible。第二个观点是很多解经家广泛的接受的，就是这里所指的是上帝指挥掌控万物的永恒的旨意，不论是具体存在的事，或者可能存在的事，具体发生的事，或者可能发生的事。That the things which are not， 所以不存在的事呢 are the possible， 就是有可能存在的事。And the things which are and the actual， 那存在的事呢，就是指那些具体存在的事。穆里的批判。But again, the formula is not adapted to such an interpretation。但是保罗不是这样说的，保罗所说的是不容许我们做这个解释的。It is gratuitous to assume that the things which are not are the things possible。假如我们说那个有那个无的事情呢，是有可能存在的事呢，这样的假设是无用的，是多余的。And besides, the things possible and merely possible cannot be regarded even by God as being。不但如此，那些可能存在的，仅仅可能存在的，就不可能被上帝看为是存在的咯。But this is the import of the formula。但是保罗讲的这个方程式的意思就是这个 ，that the non-existent things are regarded as being。那些不存在的事，上帝看他们是存在的。第三个观点，穆里的观点。The interpretation that appeals to the justice of the formula。第三个解释呢，是正视保罗的用词 ，and which is eminently appropriate to the faith of Abraham。而且第三个观点呢，是特别适合用在亚伯拉罕信心的事情上的。Is that which regards the things which are not as referring to the things determined by God to come to pass, but which have not yet been fulfilled。这个无的事情还没有存在，不存在的事情呢，是指那些上帝已经决定要发生的事，但是还没有实现的事。These things do not yet exist。这些事情还没有存在，还没有发生。But since determined by God， 但是既然这些是上帝所决定要发生的 ，they are called by Him as having existence。上帝就称他们、呼召他们，好像已经存在，好像发生了一样。The certainty of their futuration is just as secure as if they had come to pass。这些事情还没有发生，但是他们将来必定发生，这个必然性呢，就等于好像他们已经发生了，那么的坚固的，那么的确实的。And the word call， 呼召、称呼这个字呢 ，is used of God's effectual word and determination。这个召这个字呢，是指上帝大能有效的话和大能有效的预定。The promises given to Abraham were in that category。上帝给亚伯拉罕的应许呢，是属于这个范围的，就是有着大能有效的预定和大能有效的话语，有这些性质的。The things promised had not yet come into being。上帝所应许的事还没有发生，还不存在。They were non-existent as respects realization。从这件事情实现的角度来看，这些事情还没有存在的。But because God promised them， 但是因为上帝应许了这些事情要发生 ，and therefore determined that they should come to pass， 而上帝也因此呢就决定必然会发生的 ，the certainty of their realization was secure。因此，这是必然发生，这个必然性、决定性、坚固性呢是牢固的。It was to this truth, namely that what God has determined and promised, though not fulfilled, is spoken of as if it had been fulfilled, and therefore as being in His determinate purpose. that Abraham's faith was directed. 亚伯拉罕的信心的对象是指向这个真理，就是上帝所预定的，上帝所应许的，虽然还没有实现，但是上帝说这些事情好像是已经实现一样，因此呢，在上帝预定的计划里面是存在的。亚伯兰是朝着这个真理来相信上帝的。And it was in God as possessing this character that Abraham rested. 亚伯拉罕信靠的是有着这个属性的上帝。God's promise was for Abraham as good as fulfillment. 对亚伯拉罕来说，上帝的应许就好像已经实现了一样。The things that were not yet did not belong to the category of the possible, but to that of determinate certainty. And Abraham possessed the promises in God. 这些还不存在还是无的事情呢，不是那些可能会发生的事，不是的，是那些上帝坚决预定必定发生的。而亚伯拉罕在上帝那边的时候已经拥有这些应许了。Refer to Hebrews 11 verse 1， 参考希伯来书第11章第1节，信就是所望之事的实底，是未见之事的确据。新译本，信就是对所盼望的事的把握，是还没有看见的事的明证。Romans chapter 4 verse 18， 第4章18节， Who in hope believed against hope, to the end that he might become a father of many nations, according to that which had been spoken, so shall thy seed be. 罗马书第4章，我们现在来到第18节了。在他没有盼望的时候，仍然怀着盼望去信，因此就成了万国的父。正如上帝所说，你的后裔将要这样众多。我读和合本。他在无可指望的时候，因信仍有指望，就得以做多国的父。正如先前所说，你的后裔将要如此。Verse 18 is a further amplification of the character of Abraham's faith. 18节进一步的扩大了描述亚伯拉罕信心的本质 and of the design that his faith subserved. 还有他的信心是为了达到什么样的目标，这些都扩大了。The relative pronoun at the beginning refers to Abraham. 在第18节一开始就用了一个代词的，是指亚伯拉罕。Refer to 17b， 参考17节下半。Against hope and in hope point in opposite directions. 18节说，和合本是无可指望，仍有指望；新译本是没有盼望，仍然怀着盼望。两者是指向相反的方向的。The former envisions the circumstances mentioned in verse 19, which would be calculated of themselves to destroy all hope. 前者就是没有盼望呢，是因为考虑到19节所提到的情况，这些情况呢是刻意要人把任何的盼望毁掉的。In terms of human resources, there was no possibility of fulfillment. 从人的能力跟资源来看呢，实现这些的应许是没有可能性的。This, however, places in relief the other expression. 恰恰就是这样子来让第二个表述能够凸显出来。In hope, 怀着盼望 and the calculation of faith, which it bespeaks. 而这个怀着盼望呢，就是表达出信心是怎么样的计算的。In the face of the calculations which appearances might induce, 假如看表面的情况来打算的话呢， Abraham entertained hope because he believed 亚伯拉罕怀着盼望，因为他相信 and the calculation of faith were with the omnipotence and faithfulness of God。 而信心是怎么样谋算的呢？信心是相信上帝的无所不能和上帝的信实的，参考第17节。It is difficult to ascertain the precise relationships and interrelationships of faith and hope in this text。 在这一节，信心和盼望之间的关系，相互的关系是什么呢？不太容易确定。Believed in hope， 怀着盼望去相信，does not mean that he had faith in his own hope。 这个意思不是说亚伯拉罕信靠他自己的盼望的。The object of faith is clearly God。 很明显的，亚伯拉罕信心的对象是上帝。In the omnipotence of his character， 就是有着无所不能的本性的上帝。The determinateness of his purpose， 就是上帝的计划是已经预定，是坚决的。信心是信这样的一个上帝。And the security of his promises， 上帝所应许的是稳固的，是坚定的。亚伯拉罕是信这样的一个的上帝的。Apparently, what is meant by believed in hope？ 很明显的 believe in hope， 怀着盼望去相信的意思是什么呢？就是 is that Abraham's faith was exercised in the confident hope which the promise of God engendered。 就是说亚伯拉罕是怎么样的用上他的信心的呢？就是上帝的应许在他里面激发了一个盼望。亚伯拉罕是有着这个充满着把握的盼望，这样子来相信上帝的。Faith and hope were mutually interactive and complementary， 因此信心跟盼望所互动的，是相辅相成的。They both rested upon the same foundation。 信心和盼望都建立在同一个的根基上，就是 the promises of God， 上帝的应许。And the specific quality of faith being unreserved commitment to God and his promises。 而信心特别的素质就是毫不保留的委身于上帝，委身于上帝的应许。And the specific quality of hope， 那么盼望的特别的素质就是 the outreach of expectation in reference to fulfillment， 就是期待仰望上帝实现这个应许。The second part of verse 18 states，the design of Abraham's faith。 18节下半节就指出亚伯拉罕的信心是为了达到怎么一个目标。 It was， 这个目标就是 to the end that he might become the father of many nations， 好叫他做多国之父。 According to that which is spoken, so shall thy seed be。 就根据先前所说的，你的后裔必然是如此的。It is possible that this is intended to define the aim consciously entertained by Abraham。 有可能这里是指亚伯拉罕心里面意识到的事情。And therefore that his faith was directed to the fulfillment of the promises mentioned in this part of the text。 所以呢，有可能是指他的信心呢，是相信这段经文里面所提到的应许必定是会实现的。That is to say， 换言之 Abraham confidently believed in the assurance of hope, lest the promises that he would be the father of many nations and his seed as the stars of heaven should fail of fulfillment。 意思就是说呢，亚伯拉罕充满着把握的相信，他有盼望的确据，好叫上帝所应许的不会落空，不会不实现的。就是说他要做多国之父，他的后裔好像天上的星那么多他充满着确据，把握相信，好叫应许不落空。 Both promises stated in the text, a father of many nations, and so shall thy seed be, were promises given to Abraham。 经文里面指出两项的应许，做多国之父，还有你的后裔 必然如此，就是好像天上的星这么多，都是上帝给亚伯拉罕的应许的。Genesis 15:5 and 17:5， 参考创世纪15章第5节，还有创世纪第17章第5节的。And they therefore came within the compass of his faith。 因此这2个应许都是在亚伯拉罕的信心的范围里面，他信这2项的应许的。Hence, to dismiss summarily the view that this defines the design of Abraham in believing is without warrant。 所以假如有人有这个观点说，这个是亚伯拉罕自己的目标呢，我们没有理由拒绝这个观点的。But in any case, the design is that embraced in the ordination of God。 不过总之呢，这个信心的目标呢，是包含在上帝的永恒中所预定的计划里面的。第2个观点 View number 2， The strongest consideration in favor of restricting the design to the ordination and intention of God is the parallel in verse 11。 但是这里第18节和第11节有着平衡的关系的，这个是很强的理由支持我们把这里的目标呢，这个好教这个目标呢，是指上帝的预定，上帝的用意。But the argument drawn from verse 11 is not conclusive to this effect。 但是从第11节这样的来论证呢，不是绝对的，不是绝对的可信的。In the latter, the design stated is clear that of God's own action。 在11节，上帝的这个目标肯定是上帝自己的作为。Whereas in verse 18, the design is related directly to the act of Abraham in believing。 而第18节的目标呢，是直接与亚伯拉罕信这个动作有关的。Of course, God's ordination is indicated even if what is expressly stated is the design of Abraham。 当然了，就算我们这里所指的这里所看到的是指亚伯拉罕自己的目标，仍然是指出上帝的预定的。There appears to be no good reason for excluding the latter。 但是没有理由排除这个是亚伯拉罕的目标。Romans 4:19 to 25， 罗马书第4章19到第25节。Verse 19， 19节。 And without being weakened in faith, he considered his own body now as good as dead, he being about 100 years old, and the deadness of Sarah's womb。 罗马书4章19节，他将近100岁的时候，虽然想到自己的身体如同已死，撒拉的生育已经断绝，他的信心还是不软弱。19节。In verse 19, there is a question as to the correct Greek text。 第19节这里呢，究竟希腊文的原文文本如何说呢？是不确定的。There is a significant variant in the manuscripts。 古卷抄本这件事有所分歧的。Are we to read, he did not consider his own body dead？ 我们是应该这样看吗？他不看自己的身体是死了。Or he did consider his own body dead？ 还是说他看自己的身体是死了？是哪一个呢？ The negative appears in some manuscripts, but not in others。 他不看自己的身体是，这个不字有些古卷有，有些古卷是没有的。And this might seem to offer entirely different interpretations。 既然古卷有些有，有些没有呢，可能就引发出各种不同的解释咯。But in this context, strange as it may seem， 但是在这段经文按照上下文来看呢，虽然是好像很奇怪， The difference of thought is not so great。 两种的抄本的意思它的分别没有这么大。 And both readings are compatible with the context and with what we know of Abraham。 两种的古卷的抄法都与上下文是符合的，都与我们所认识的亚伯拉罕的性格是符合的。On the former reading， 好，我们先来看第一种的抄本，就是他 不看自己的身体是死的。The thought would be that 保罗的用意就是说 he did not consider his own body dead and the deadness of Sarah's womb. 他没有看自己的身体是死的，他也没有看撒拉的生育是断绝的。That is to say, 换言之 he did not set his mind upon, he did not become so absorbed with the procreative impotency of his own body, nor the fact that Sarah was past age for the conception and bearing of children. 换言之，他不是专注于他在生殖方面的无能，他不是专注于撒拉已经过了生育的年纪 ，so as to become weak in faith， 以至于信心软弱，不是 set his mind upon， 他不是完全在想这件事情 ，did not become so absorbed， 不是全神贯注的去考虑这件事情。Refer to Genesis 18:11， 参考创世纪第18章第11节。亚伯拉罕和撒拉年纪老迈，撒拉的月经已断绝了。This implies that his body was procreatively impotent, and the reason is given, namely, that he was about 100 years old. 这里就暗示着他的身体在生殖方面是无能的，原因是已经100岁了。And it implies that Sarah also was past the age of bearing, as Genesis 18:11 attests. 也暗示着撒拉已经过了生育的年龄，正如创世纪18章11节所说的。But he did not allow them to loom up to his thought to such an extent that his faith in the promise of God was undermined. 但是他没有把他的心思意念这么专注在这些事实上，以致影响到他对上帝应许的信靠。As verse 20 says， 正如第20节说 ，He did not waver at the promise of God in unbelief。正如20节说，他没有，他的信心没有动摇，而不信上帝的应许的。While he did not close his eyes to the facts of his own age and Sarah's， 是的，他对自己的和妻子的年龄不是盲目的。Yet he was so absorbed with the promise of God that faith did not waver。但是他那么的专注于上帝的应许，以至于他的信心是没有动摇的。On the latter reading， 我们来看第二个古卷的抄法，就是他试看自己的信心的身体是死的。The thought is that Abraham did consider his own body dead and the deadness of Sarah's womb。他试看自己的身体是死的，撒拉的也是过了这个生育的年龄也是断绝了。In this case, there is express emphasis on what is implied on the other reading, but the word consider would have a different shade of meaning. 假如看第二种的古卷的话呢，第一种古卷所暗示的，这个看呢，是明说的，但是呢，看自己的身体这个字的意思稍微有点不一样。In the former case， 假如是不是看自己的身体死的话 ，it would mean being absorbed with fixed attention upon， 就是专注于全神贯注的去思考。Whereas now， 但是只要按照第二种古卷的抄法的话呢 ，it means take into account, reckon with， 就是考虑到的意思。And the thought would be， 按照第二种的古卷呢，的意思就是说 ，although he was fully aware of his own procreative decrepitude and the deadness of Sarah's womb, nevertheless he was not weak in faith。的意思是，虽然他完全意识到他在生殖的无能，还有撒拉的生育已经断绝，他的信心仍然是不软弱的。And the reason why he was not weak in faith is， 为什么他的信心不软弱呢？原因就是 he fixed his attention upon the promise of God， 他专注于上帝的应许 and did not waver in unbelief， 没有动摇而不信的。Hence, the difference of meaning on the two readings is one of emphasis。所以这两种古卷的意思稍微有点不一样，只不过是在侧重点不同。And both readings are quite in accord with the facts of the case。两种的古卷呢，都符合历史的事实 ，and with the construction of the passage， 也都符合整段经文的句子的构造的。The latter reading, however, appears to have the strongest support and may therefore be followed。穆里最后的结论是，第二种的古卷，就是说他试看自己的身体是死的，比较多一点的支持的理由。所以呢，我们会根据这个第二种的古卷来继续来解释下去。Romans 4:12 20 and 21，罗马书第4章20和21节。Yet looking unto the promise of God, he wavered not through unbelief, but waxed strong through faith, giving glory to God, and being fully assured that what he had promised, he was able also to perform. 第4章20和21节，并且仰望上帝的应许，总没有因不信心里起疑惑，反倒因信心里的坚固，将荣耀归给上帝。第21，且满心相信上帝所应许的必能做成。我们读新译本，也没有因着不信而疑惑上帝的应许，反而坚信不疑，把荣耀归给上帝。满心相信上帝所应许的，上帝必能成就。Verse 20 is explanatory of the clause at the beginning of verse 19. 20节是解释第19节一开始那个从句 and not being weak in faith， 信心没有软弱 and describes Abraham's faith both negatively and positively。 第20节从负面和正面两方面来描述形容亚伯拉罕的信心的。This is the force of the adversative at the middle of the verse。 在第20节中间那里有一个负面的说法，的意思就是这个 Abraham did not stagger， 亚伯拉罕没有动摇， He did not entertain doubting thoughts， 他心里面没有怀着一些怀疑的思想 with reference to the promise of God， 就是他没有对上帝的应许怀有任何的怀疑。The promise of God occupies the position of emphasis in a sentence。 这句话里面呢，上帝的应许呢是站在一个很明显的地位的，站在一个非常被强调的地位的。In order to set off in bolder relief that upon which Abraham's faith was focused， 是特别为了要凸显出究竟亚伯拉罕信心是这个焦点是什么。If Abraham had wavered at a promise， 假如亚伯拉罕对上帝的应许有所摇动的话呢 ，it would have been through unbelief， 那是因为他的不信的缘故。Doubt of the promise of God has no affinity with faith。 怀疑上帝的应许与信心是完全不相关的。And the apostle accords it no credit。 保罗没有把不信归给亚伯拉罕。The positive characterization of Abraham's faith， 那么从正面来形容亚伯拉罕的信心的时候呢，保罗说 is that he was strengthened in faith， 他的信心越发刚强了。It is usual to take the faith referred to here as meaning in respect of his faith after the analogy of verse 19a。 一般来说，解经家认为这个信心呢，是指从他的信心的角度来看，是根据第19节的上半节对19节上的比较。19节上是说，他将近100岁的时候，虽然想到自己的身体如同已死，撒拉的生育已经断绝。Which is to the fact that Abraham did not become weakened in respect of his faith。 的意思就是说，亚伯拉罕从他的信心的角度来看，他没有软弱。And so the meaning is taken to be that Abraham was strengthened in respect of his faith。 所以呢，这里的意思就是说，亚伯拉罕从他的信心的角度来看，他的信心就更加的刚强了。那这个第一个观点。第二个观点 View number 2。It is not unreasonable, however, to regard the faith referred to here as instrumental。 但是另外一个很有理由的一个的看法是，这个信心是一个工具、一个手段、一个器皿。After the pattern of the unbelief in the preceding clause， 就好像前面的从句不信，因为不信而起怀疑一样。And thus understand the clause to mean，这样子来看的话，这个从句的意思就是说 Abraham was strengthened, that is empowered by his faith。 这里讲的是借着亚伯拉罕的信心，他刚强了， 他重新得力了。The sense would then be that 的意思就是说呢 that the strength by which Abraham was able to perform the procreative act in begetting Isaac was ministered through the instrumentality of faith， 就是说借着信心，亚伯拉罕得到力量，能够行生育之举，以至于能够生以撒。Faith would thus be brought into direct relation to the procreative act。所以这个信心呢，是直接跟这个生殖的举动呢是直接有关的。We must not forget that Isaac was begotten by Abraham and conceived by Sarah。不要忘记，是亚伯拉罕生以撒，也是撒拉生以撒。And this view of strengthened in faith will indicate that， 只要这样看亚伯拉罕，借着信心使他刚强呢 will indicate that it was by the strength ministered by faith and exercised in faith that Abraham begat Isaac。的意思就是说呢，就指出是因为信心所带来的力量，因为亚伯拉罕用信心，这样子他就生了以撒。Refer to Hebrews 11:11， 参考希伯来书11章11节。In the case of Sarah， 帮希伯来书的作者指到撒拉的时候 ，By faith she received strength to conceive seed。亚伯拉罕借着信心得到力量，生出后裔。It is a strange prejudice that leads Maya to say that this can hardly fail to convey a very indelicate idea。Maya 呢就反对我们这个的看法，说这个呢是非常不体面的概念。穆里说这个是没有理由的偏见。There are two reasons, however, why this interpretation should not be adopted。那现在呢，穆里来说有2个原因，为什么我们不采用这个的解释。Number one， 第一个原因 ，There is no evidence that Paul has in view simply the later period in Abraham's life of faith when he actually begat Isaac. The promises quoted in this chapter have reference to an earlier period. 经文没有什么证据证明保罗只不过是想到亚伯拉罕在他后期的信心，就是的确生以撒的那段时期的信心，只是讲后期的。这里所引用的上帝的应许，也是指亚伯拉罕前期的一个阶段的这么一个原因。Number two， 第二个原因 ，The idea that the strength by which Abraham begat Isaac is in the forefront here does not so well accord with the clauses which follow。假如认为呢，亚伯拉罕生以撒所需要的力量是这里所特别突出的话呢，跟后文下文的一些的从句好像不太符合。Give glory to God， 归荣耀给上帝 ，and being fully persuaded， 完全相信 ，is defined for us that in which the strengthening of faith consisted， 就告诉我们呢，亚伯拉罕的信心刚强是指什么？ Or at least the ways in which the strengthening of faith was expressed， 至少呢，信心加强是用什么方法来表达出来的 ？They indicate what was simultaneous with the strengthening of faith， 就是说这些从句指出与信心加强之同时发生什么事 ，and very likely what was involved in the strengthening of faith， 或者更加可能是信心增强是包括什么，牵涉到什么 ？The content of his full persuasion is stated to be， 经文说他的完全的确据的内容就是 that what had been promised God was able to perform， 所应许的上帝必能实现 give glory to God， 归荣耀给上帝 and being fully persuaded that what he has promised he is able to perform， 完全相信上帝所应许的他必能成就 are coordinate， 这2个是互相协调的 and describe the exercises or states of mind which were involved in Abraham's faith。 这2个从句就描述出亚伯拉罕的信心，就牵涉到他心里面有怎么样的一些的心思意念，或者有怎么样的一个心态。To give glory to God， 归荣耀给上帝 is to reckon God to be what he is，就是承认上帝是这样子的上帝 and to rely upon his power and faithfulness， 同时是依靠上帝的大能和他的信实。 To be fully persuaded, 充分相信，有确信 denotes the full assurance and efflorescence of conviction， 就是指出这个信念的确据，信念的丰富。Refer to 14:5 and Colossians 4:12， 参考罗马书14章第5节，哥罗西书第4章12节。首先是罗马书14章第5节，有人看这日比那日强，有人看日日都是一样，只是个人心里要意见坚定 fully persuaded。 然后呢是哥罗西书第4章第12节，有你们那里的人做基督耶稣仆人的以巴弗问你们安，他在祷告之间常为你们竭力的祈求，愿你们在上帝一切的旨意上得以完全，信心充足，能站立得稳。 With full persuasion， 信心有充分的把握。 The object of this conviction is stated to be， 那这个的信念，这个的把握，这个确据是信什么呢？ That what he has promised, he is able also to perform。 有确信，有确据相信上帝所应许的，他也能够做成的。 Both clauses in coordination mark a fullness of expression indicative of the strength and vigor of Abraham's faith。 两个从句一起来看，就充分表达出，也指出亚伯拉罕的信心多么的活泼和强而有力。我们休息之后呢，再回来看罗马书第4章22节。